If you watched the last video, you already know something most people don't. Food disappears fast, not slowly, not gradually, fast, and when it does, people don't start thinking clearly, they grab whatever is left. Which is why this video matters, because canned food is one of the few things that lasts a long time, doesn't need refrigeration, and can be eaten straight out of the can. But here's the problem, most people stock the wrong ones. They buy things that look good on the shelf, but don't actually help when it matters. Too little protein, too much sugar, or foods that don't really keep you full. So today we're going to fix that. We're going through 12 canned foods that actually make sense to stockpile, not just because they last, but because they work in a real situation. And a few of these are things most people completely overlook. Let's start with one of the most underrated, canned beans. They're simple, cheap, and already cooked. That last part matters more than people realize, because dry beans are useless if you can't cook them. Canned beans, on the other hand, are ready immediately. They give you carbs, some protein, and most importantly, they keep you full. Not exciting, but extremely practical. Now, let's add real protein, canned chicken. This is one of those items people skip until they need it. It's lean, easy to eat, and works with almost anything. You can mix it with beans, wrap it in tortillas, or eat it straight, and when your options are limited, versatility becomes valuable. Next is something most people already buy, but don't store enough of. Tuna or salmon. These are compact, high protein, and last a long time. But here's the key, go for options that are easy to open, because in a real situation, something as small as a missing can opener becomes a problem. That's the kind of detail people don't think about until they have to. Now we go heavier. Canned meat, beef, stew, Spam. This is where your calories really start adding up, and calories are what keep you going, not just eating, but functioning, thinking clearly, staying active. Without enough calories, everything feels harder, and that's why this category matters so much. Now, let's talk about something that, honestly, feels like a full meal, canned soup. Yeah, it's definitely better hot, but, it doesn't have to be. You can eat it cold if you need to, and in a situation where variety just disappears, having something that actually feels like a meal really matters. Because eating isn't just a physical thing, it's mental too. Next up is canned chili. This one's powerful for real. It combines multiple things in one can: protein, carbs, and flavor. It's honestly one of the few canned foods that actually feels satisfying all on its own. And, well, that makes a big difference over time. Now we shift a little bit. Canned tomatoes. At first you might think this isn't all that important, but this is what turns basic food into something better. Beans become a meal, meat becomes a dish, even simple combinations just feel more complete. It's honestly not about survival alone, it's about making food tolerable over time. Next, vegetables, like canned corn or mixed vegetables. They're not the main source of calories, yeah, but they add nutrients your body still needs. And over a long period, that really matters more than most people expect. Because survival isn't just about eating, it's about maintaining your body. Now here's something people often ignore. Canned greens, like spinach or similar veggies. They're not popular, not exciting, but, wow, they're extremely important. Because when your diet gets limited, those small nutrients start to matter a lot more. This is honestly the kind of thing that separates short-term survival from long-term stability. Now let's add something different. Canned fruit. This is actually more important than it looks. It gives you hydration, natural sugar, and hey, something sweet. And that last part really matters, because when everything gets repetitive, something simple like fruit can reset your mood. That's not a luxury. That's real. Next up, milk alternatives. So, things like evaporated milk or condensed milk. These are actually pretty calorie dense, and they last a lot longer than fresh milk. Plus, you can use them in a bunch of different ways, with oats, mixed into drinks, or just as a way to add some extra calories when you need them. Honestly, this is one of those items people just don't think about, but end up regretting not having. And finally, something small but, surprisingly powerful: sardines. They might not look all that impressive, but they're packed with nutrients, protein, healthy fats, and they barely take up any space at all. This is what I'd call efficient food. And well, efficiency really matters when you're storing for the long term. Now here's something most people don't realize. It's not just about having these foods, it's about how you actually choose them. Because even when it comes to canned foods, there's a big difference. Some are packed with sugar, some are honestly pretty low in real nutrition, and some just don't fill you up at all. So, when you're picking what to store, you really have to ask yourself, will this actually sustain me, or is it just something I happen to like? Because, yeah, those are not the same thing. And here's another mistake a lot of people make. They buy random cans without thinking about balance. Too much of one thing, not enough of another. And when the time comes that they actually need it, the problem shows up fast. No protein, too many empty calories, or nothing that even feels like a real meal. So, the goal isn't just to stockpile, it's to build a system where each item supports the others. Beans with meat, vegetables with meals, fruit for energy and hydration. That's how this really works. And, one small thing that matters way more than people think. Make sure you can actually open your food. It sounds obvious, but it's honestly one of the most common problems. Manual can opener, not electric. Just something simple and reliable, because without it, all of this becomes useless. Now, think about this for a second. If something happened tomorrow, would your current food actually work? Not just sit there in your kitchen, but actually work, without power, without cooking, without relying on anything outside your home. Most people just assume yes, but when they really stop and think about it, it's not even close. That's why all of this matters. Not because something is definitely going to happen, but because when it does, the gap between having food and being prepared becomes really clear. And the good news is, you don't have to do everything at once. Start small, pick a few items, build over time, and suddenly, you're in a totally different position. And if you want to go even one step further, there are foods that last for years, and storage mistakes that can quietly destroy everything you've built. Most people don't even realize they're making those mistakes. That's what we're breaking down next.